Hey everybody, welcome to the Juliet Kamanga show. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're staying safe. Again, if you hear noises in the background, people and dogs and animals will always make noise. When I am, cars too. Just when I'm shooting, it was so quiet. To start off my June film special, I might as well just start off by critiquing my own work, because you need to trust that I am being fair in what I'm saying. Anyway guys, let's get into it. Let me give you a little bit background, okay? So if you watch my photography story, you should definitely go do that. You'll know that I was not always meant to be a camera person, okay? So it was not my dream. I came here wanting to be a writer and a director, and turns out I actually love the camera a lot, and I'm happy I found out that passion because it has changed my life. So a lot of the things you're gonna watch, I genuinely was on the camera, but not everything, just some things. So I'm going to show you a variety of things, of stuff that I've shot. Most of them, I think all of them I've directed, either co-directed or directed by myself, and yeah, I've worked on in some sort of aspect of it. I think the first thing we're going to start with is Within Their Cry. So cries, I even just misnamed my own thing.
The first time I heard him cry, it was beautiful. I was speechless. Like I literally could not believe that a baby had just come from inside me. It was wow.
We had to do a documentary on anything, I think. I think it just had to be, we had to tell a story of some sort within 3 minutes. I'm not too sure what the whole criteria was, but I know it was the very first thing we shot after photography was done. So now the problem with this time was that first term we came back and they were literally just start shooting. They gave us no instruction. We didn't know what we were doing. Luckily I had Nomsa on my team because she knew how to use the camera, and I was so confused and intimidated. I was just I want to do this, but I'm scared. So she was in control of the camera. I was helping with sound, and I helped direct. Bali edited. And yeah, this is pretty much what came through. Nomsa did a very good job. I shot the one scene that's outside, which is overblown, which you can see I shot.
You know, he should not live his life in fear. He should be free. He should be free to do whatever he wants.
I remember my brother-in-law watched, he's oh, if only that other shot you did was a bit better outside. I was it's not what I shot. I was just fuck man. I don't know what I'm doing. It was a really nice, sweet project. I think that, essence, really it was as good as it could have been. But yeah, it was supposed to really be about teen or young mothers, should I say, but we found quotes about teen mothers because a lot of people just don't really talk about young mothers. It's about teen mothers. But I think being a young mom, as in over 18 years old but just under 24, I think it's still very difficult, but people don't really talk about it.
I had no one to explain to. I did what I wanted to do whenever. Time was always on my side. I literally, was a random person.
I don't remember why we called it Within Their Cries. Maybe because babies cry. I'm not too sure. But you forget these things, it happens. But it was still really cool. To be honest, other than that end shot, at the end I would have done more shots holding hands, them talking and interacting as she spoke. It would have also been shot later in the day, but that was not possible, so that's why it was also overblown. Okay, so the second thing I shot, look, I probably shot things in between, I don't remember. These are the things I saved. These are the things I remember. I don't remember second year well because it was a very sad year for me. I was going through depression, so there was that. Me, Wandi, Nosipo, and Bali, these are my homies. We all came together, as well as some other random dude who was also on our crew who did nothing. We all came together and we made something that I will always enjoy. As much as there are lots of things we could have done different with 10 Flies, I will always love it because it helped me realize that I can actually use the camera. But it helped me realize when you have a team of people, as much as it was stressful because of our particular member that stressed us, as much as that was there, it's really amazing to work with people who really allow you to grow and kind of show what you're capable of. Wadi was a great director. She kept being you can do this, Jules, you got this, Jules, what. She was really assuring, and she'd help me when I was confused. and it was really great to see. And yeah, I enjoyed working with everyone a lot. Editing was fun, watching Bali edit, watching Nosipo make sound design for this. It's just amazing when you have a team that really comes together and makes great stuff. So in all essence, 10 Flies is about fetishes. We're looking at sexual fetishes and how they kind of possess your mind like the sound of a fly. And yeah, it was one of the highest marks I got in varsity. You know, at the time, for second year when we barely touched cameras, I think we did really well, but there were particular things I would have done differently, from even just how we directed the editing to how we directed the camera movements to how, and I say we as in because we all made these decisions together. Okay, so like even with the shot with the ballerina, I'm just like, this is so hard because we just told her to freestyle. So I'm like, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow her, but I personally feel like I followed pretty well. The camera was a bit stiff because I should have, you know, let the tripod be looser, but I was afraid I'm holding this gigantic Panasonic AF101. Okay, it's not gigantic, but it's huge, it's intimidating. It's the first time I'm shooting. With 10 Flies, I also wish that during the time we were watching the ballerina move around, I wish the camera was rather the eyes of the viewer rather than just a thing following her. So we were the ones fetishizing. Even in a whole, I think as on the whole film, I think it should have been that we were the eyes and not just showcasing. I also wish with the one shot with the two guys kissing, I wish we did that in an aesthetically pleasing place and not just an over white background. I wish it was with, you know, lighting and staged, almost like everything else was, because everything else had a mood to it, and that shot I think throws me off the most. As much as, it's not because it's bright, you know, it's just because it just seems out of place because of how it was shot. It was shot very quickly. And then we had the scene with the Zulu dancer. I wish that we also waited until afternoon. Just things like that I wish we shot differently. And also I think if we planned out the scenes in a better way, then they would have flowed better in editing. But Mbali did a phenomenal job with what we had, you know. I just think that if we literally like had a, you know, if we looped them into each other, like you'll see with my last film that I did at school, it would make, you know, it plays into each other. It's like you can sew it into each other. That's what I wish we had for 10 Flies. And this is actually the first time I've been able to critique 10 Flies. Usually I'm just like, I love everything about it, but now I'm honest with myself. There are so many things we could have done differently. I still like it either way. I like everything about this thing. So even the critiques are just like, you know, now looking back at it, we could have done this and this and the other, but everyone did a phenomenal job. Everyone who worked, you did great. Okay, so the next thing, yes, the first independent film. So the first film I did without school telling me what to do was called Mamela. If anyone wants to watch this film, please remember their trigger warnings. There were a lot of different things that could have been done, and that's because the director, yeah, she just kind of fucked up slightly. It could have been better. I made this film to speak about gender-based violence at a time where there was an incident in my street where neighbors were fighting, and it got violent and physical, and nobody did anything. So yeah, I called the police and they didn't do anything. I kept having this idea where someone would commit suicide, but nobody knows why. And I wanted to just have a scene, literally the end scene, where someone's walking and they kill themselves. And nobody knows what's happening, you know? Then I was like, but why would anyone continuously pay attention to that? Like, what exactly would be interesting about just watching someone kill themselves? Because it would end up disturbing people more than helping people. So I was like, okay, let me link it to something. So I was just like, gender-based violence would make sense. Imagine you're trying to call out for help and nobody's helping you. So I decided to find 3 different scenarios: family, friends, and police. None of them helped her, so she killed herself. I did not know trigger warnings were a thing when I made the film, so that's why they are not there. I'm being serious, like I didn't know they existed. No, like if that makes sense, I didn't know you put like a disclaimer. But I'm learning now, so obviously my future works that are like this will have disclaimers. I showed it to one of my lecturers and he made a very, very good point. He was like, And this is no judgment or like anything wrong with the actor we chose, but he was saying with the actor who portrays the guy who was the abuser, with him, the actor should have been slightly tougher, and I understand why. And it's not to say that only like muscular men or anything like that are abusive or anything like that, but I think it's the idea that with the camera we didn't play around enough to make him seem like he's bigger than her, in the sense that he overpowers her. So using the camera as a tool to show that he can be powerful. So if we're not going to do that, then we have to have someone who physically looks like they could overpower her, if that makes sense, right? Even though they're both smaller people, you still need this idea that, like, you know, he's tough, he's bigger, and he scares her compared to how he actually looks. That would have been a cool way to play with it if said director had figured it out at the time. But now that I'm older and wiser, I do understand that we could have played with the camera a lot more. Me and Nomsa could have sat down and really been like, how can we take this camera and use it as a way to fight these ideas? So I wish that the camera was played as the fear that she had towards him. We did a lot more telling than showing. And that's obviously not what you want to do. But it was a very, very important learning curve. I really learned a lot about telling the story that I want to tell. And I learned a lot as a director. I was very meek back then. I didn't want to tell people off. I didn't want to like tell people that, you know, but now I know myself as a director. I'm going to do 1,000 times better, but that's just it, man. You have to just keep doing it until you practice that you just need to say what you want to say. Also with lighting, me and Nomsa both kind of didn't really know cinematography well enough to do what we were doing. We just booked lights and didn't use half of them. So now if we were to shoot it, it'd be very different. I would actually like to reshoot something like Mamela, not Mamela again. But even if we did Mamela again, I would like to rewrite it and see how I could change it and see if it feels better. I really think it could be an amazing time. So with Cocoa with a Hint of Milk, it was supposed to be about a black artist who is a coconut. And I think it spoke to me and Nosipo pretty well because of just how we're perceived in life. We made a web series about it for our honors thesis thing, whatever you call it. Here's the problem, right? The thing is, me and Nosipo had a plan. The issue was that our lecturer intercepted our plan and we listened to him because we wanted to pass. And that's why when you look at the first 2 episodes of the show,
my influence to make African art, which is a problematic term,
versus the last 3.
Not your like, I know you like your vanilla, but like I think it's time for you to try some chocolate.
Very different. It's supposed to show in different scenarios in being her coconut self, technically. It was supposed to be kind of funny, but also truthful. And it ended up straying from that, and it sucked. It really sucked because it was the only chance we had to make this what it could have been, and whatever, man. But the first episode is always my favorite when we introduce the character. I always love that episode. It's very beautiful. I love how it was shot and edited and the sound was created and how me and Nosipo came together to create this idea. And you know, she was such a great partner, you know, so easy to work with. I do think that directionally I wish that we took the actors and made them run through the lines a lot more, but because in film school everything's very short and we have to, you know, and actors are also students, so they had to like do work. We didn't have time to really go over lines and rehearse, you know.
Art is made in Africa. So how do you think I'm disconnected from my cultural roots if it has influenced my art? My roots are planted here. They planted in Zambia.
It's just impossible. So, you know, we kind of just had to work with what we had. And yeah, if we just had more time to rehearse, I think we really could have nailed the scenes a bit better, the dialogue a bit better. But I really enjoyed a lot of how we told the story, with camera work, with editing, with sound, just all of those different things. I love how we told the story. I've never worked with Nosipo and hated it. So this is making me miss my friends. Lastly, my favorite film in the world. Listen, Oscillate is perfect, okay? I'm sorry, like there's nothing you can tell me to change in Oscillate. I love it.
Umzimba nawo wabanzima.
We already changed it. There was something we changed and it's great now. I I don't know how else to explain it. I love this film. So Oscillate looks at love, right? But in different, phases. So you know the whole idea of color theory. So there's an idea that color theory makes you feel a particular way and all those different things. But we were trying to see if we can take the idea of love and link it to color theory and make it feel like something else. So we had 4 different colors: mint, nature green, yellow, and pink. These colors are technically very bright and lovely, but what would it be like to put distress within these different colors? How does it translate? And I think we were so lucky because we had great actors who were with us and willing to do anything, which is amazing, and really willing to feel the love and fall in love. And it was such a confusing project because it started out as one thing and turned into another thing, because we had a very great lecturer who helped us navigate that film. And if it was not for her, who knows? Like, to be honest, we were so stressed because we're like, what is this going to become? Because we had an idea, and when you put it down, it's another thing. So what could it become? We had the content, we had the shots down and ready. The thing is, it makes me very emotional because I remember, like, when we screened it, we were nervous. We were just like, because everyone was getting criticized. Like, they were like, "Kadadas," and we went up there nervous, 3 of us shaking in our knees, explaining what the film is about. I remember our voices shaking. This is our last film in Wits, and they were just like, "I don't even know how to critique this. It's great." It's like, it's an outstanding film. And I wanted to cry because I was just like, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Okay, film life. But in all honesty, I can't critique it. I love it so much. It's such a beautiful film. I'm not even like, "Oh, Jules, you're amazing." It really is. I think having the team that I had, it was so amazing. They really killed it. The thing is, we had too much stress and too much confusion for it to turn out to be shit. You know what I mean? So it's very hard to critique it because we really made everything what it was. We made the sets look like they were. We made the colors pop. We made all the sounds that you hear, we made them happen. We designed. I've never designed sound the way I designed the sound for this thing, okay? Mina, I designed sound, guys. I remember sitting there cutting sounds of oceans and things and movement and, calm and static. I remember cutting these things, not knowing what I was doing, because I was just like, I don't know if these people are going to like what I'm doing. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This took forever to shoot. I'm so tired. I hope you have a good day. Stay safe. Look, I do critique my own work. I hope, you go watch my films out there. Tell me what you think. Like, go tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me you're watching like there's so much that's wrong with this thing. And then remember what year I was in and the fact that there's time restraints and blah, blah, blah. Stay beautiful, and please make sure you watch the rest of the things that I'm going to be doing.